Hello everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere episode, 436. And today we're going to be talking about another Protomech. Yep, it's the Gorgon. It's the slow Gorgon. Yep. What we have here is a 460 moving little Protomech. Comes in with a battle value of 295. Yep, has one heatsink, due to the fact that it's running around with a ER micro laser for point defense. And then we have an LRM-10 with a ton of ammo for 12 shots. That is in the, where is that, the torso? Weapons section. Let me double check here real quick. Where'd it go? There it is. Yes, micro lasers in torso A, and the LRM is in the main gun on the shoulder there. That's right. All right, so a 295.46 moving Protomech, which means it's slow. But one nice thing it has going for it is that you got something with an LRM-10, you get 12 shots with it. You can sit towards the back of the board, in the battlefield away from everybody, and if there's no fast movers trying to get to the rear with their gear, well, they can sit there and do direct fire or indirect fire. So it's not overly bad. It's not something I would take for the most part if I'm taking a Protomech, but there's something to be said about having something that can have a multiple role of a indirect or direct fire weapon system with that LRM-10. Yeah, typically if you do hit, you're going to do 6 points of damage. And it is what it is. But having something running around your backfield that can fill in the role of basic fire support might be useful. So you could have a point of these just parked back someplace and just raining down fire until they're empty, and then go leave the battlefield or go to a reload point, and then be able to come back in the battle again later on if they survive. Now, if anything attracts, if they attract attention of anything that's got some good firepower, can shoot in the range, oh, they're probably going to die a horrible death really quick. So that's what's one big issue you have with any type of Protomech. You attract attention, you're dead. But on the other hand, they are fairly cheap, so they can be a good nuisance and distraction. So there's that going for them. So there's that. All right, so with that, would I put any more battle value points into them to increase their gunnery? Oh, probably not. I would treat them similar to any type of mech, you use in the inner sphere. That's something like that. This is basically an inner sphere style little 20. You think about it, it's almost like a 20-tonner. It's 8 tons, but it's 12 short of being a 20-tonner. But it does have the firepower of a lot of the mechs out there. It's like this thing can outrange, let's say, wafts and stingers and locusts, for that matter, unless they have the one version that's got the LRM-5s and the 2 LRM-5s, I believe it is. But even then, that's just harassment style recon mech. And being a 4.6 isn't much faster than your typical wasp or stinger, so which are 6.9s. So it's like, okay, something you just like scratch your head and go, do I use it or don't I? Something to think about. Now, armor value on this thing, you're looking at an armor value of 34. You look at a flea, which is a 20-tonner, or a wasp or something, you're getting into the similar flea, I think only has like 32, 34 for its armor value. Let me check this out real quick. Okay. Oh, here we go. Got put the flea up. 5, 10, 15, 23, 31. Yeah, 31 towards the front, and then it's carrying 6 more on the back. So, yeah, that's very similar to the armor value of a flea. Well, here's the other flea. 6, 11, 17, 22. Ooh. That's not good. That's less than 30. Yeah, that's like one flea with the large laser. It's like everything goes into the large laser. Yeah, that could be bad. Thorn, that's a little bit better armored. 6'9" Thorn, which is 20 tons. Yeah. So you're running around with a Protomech that has almost as much armor as a another 20-tonner, and this thing's only 8. So, yeah, you can do a fairly decent job of providing some firepower. Just don't get them. Well, it's going to take them a while to get into the battle, but once they do, they can sit there and rain down fire with those LRMs. All right, that's the Gorgon 1. Now we have the Gorgon 2 version. This one has a medium pulse laser, comes in at 308 battle value. Now, the armor value has been, let's see, slightly increased. Okay, so you got a slight increase of the battle value. You have the main gun is in the main gun section. So you got a medium pulse laser, but it running around with a 4.64. So getting rid of the LRM and the micro laser, replacing it with a medium pulse laser, you got something that now shoots out to 12 and is able to jump. So it's a little bit more mobile, a 4.64 with a medium pulse laser. You know, you're running at, let's say you run a point to these, a 5. Yeah, you're looking at 1,540 battle value without adding any type of gunnery skill. And I probably wouldn't, especially with something a pulse laser. You're just going to say, hey, you already got the -2. I wouldn't be adding anything else to it. So now you got something that can get over obstacles a little better. And then if you get within 12, you can unload with the medium pulse laser. Now, if you unleash on something that's got this firepower to splat you out of the existence, yeah, once you get that pulse laser in range, you get one shot probably. They think of you like a fire and forget weapon system. One of them is probably going to disappear, maybe even 2, depending on how they decide to lay their firepower out. Is that they're going this direction or this direction, or 2 at one time. Yeah, but you know, you got that. So this one just screams to me, hey, I want to take this into a city fight. Now, if you know you're going to be in a city fight and you want something to add a little extra firepower to your battle armor, this might be something to think about, is adding a Gorgon. Their speed is similar for mobility. So, yeah, you could run those guys around with some battle armor on the battlefield, and it's kind of through running around in a city fight and causing havoc and everything. So that's actually a pretty decent usage of the Gorgon 2. So that's how I'd look at that one there. Then we got the Gorgon 3. This one comes in at 285 battle value. So a little bit less than the Gorgon 1, but it comes in with a SRM 4 with a ton of ammo. So yeah, it can exist on the battlefield for a longer period of time. It shoots out the 9 with the standard SRM 4. But it also is a 5.8, so its mobility has been increased. So you're able to get around a little bit better and deliver that SRM 4. So your damage output isn't all that great. You know, the odds of missing are probably just as bad as running around with the LRM 10, but you can get there faster. So it's hard to say is it really worth taking this one, because you do have to get in fairly close to be able to use your weapon system, and the odds are you're probably going to miss. So are you just throwing away battle value with that version? You know, you're going to have to make that decision, but it is better armored. That's the one thing going for it. Like the chest, let's see, there's 2, 4, 6. 12, 16. You got 16 armor in the torso, and the legs have 10. And then, let's see, 8 in each arm, or 4 in each arm. So there's 8 there and 3 in the head. But, yeah, I'm not sure if that'd be one that I'd be willing to take, run around with, even though it can handle a little bit better shots against it. But you have to get in close to do it. So it might behoove you to, if you're going to run one of these, is to load it up with Inferno and just go out and start. If you're in a city running around a Protomech with Infernos, yeah, you could take on vehicles and other infantry, or other even Protomechs for that matter. Or you can just cause havoc to burning everything down, or hitting mechs and start cooking them, pump them up on that heat scale. There's something to think about there. Then we got the Gorgon 4. All right, this one comes at $289. Slightly less, or a little bit, yes, slightly less than the original, but it's a 4.63, a little more mobile. You have an AP Gauss rifle in the torso, and the main gun is an SRM-6, which has 1 ton of ammunition. All right, so you're looking at something that shoots out to 9, slightly more mobile. This is another one that you might use to be a shepherd for the battle armor if you're running any of those on the board. So having some of them might be useful. Not to mention, that you got some anti-personnel weapons system with the AP Gauss rifle, and then you have damage output with the SRM-6. Probably go standard armor ammo with that one, and you got something that can actually take on infantry with the AP Gauss rifle. So I probably wouldn't add any increase in the gunnery skill. That it's like your battle value is best by adding more infantry. If you get, it's like, hey, can I throw a few more battle armor points in? Yeah, go ahead. Or even another Protomech, for that matter, into the mix. So it's one of those things where if you're really into Protomechs, yeah, you look at how much you can toss into the mix and just say, hey, how much problems can I cause for these guys? Going that route. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the Gorgon. It's a kind of a hit and miss type of 8-ton Protomech. There's the one that I do like, which has the medium pulse laser, and I can see that being really useful in a city fight where you're really congested down and you're going to be firing at short ranges anyway. That would be useful. And then the prime version with the LRM-10, that's useful too for creating a base of fire for raining down some LRM-10s on a target. And then once you're empty, leave the battlefield in 12 turns if you're going longer than 12. So, there's something to be said about that one. So those would be the two I really do like if I was going to take a Gorgon. So there you go. That is the Gorgon Protomech in a nutshell. So hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Alcrax out.